Okay, welcome to another of Mr. Turner's longer answer 6-mark question videos. Key principles again. Don't be afraid. These are easy to pick up marks for. And the reason they are is because examiners have to stick to specific mark schemes to work between different levels, different mark bands, 1 to 2, 3 to 4, 5 to 6. And actually, they're not that difficult. Also as well, it's really easy to pick up 4 marks with very few words because you get the same question in higher and foundation. So actually these 6-mark questions are really sort of a C plus B minus kind of standard. So let's have a look at another one of these questions. Well, there is a lot of information here, but you do not need to be afraid. So again, it goes through the usual bump of using good English, blah, 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 which you don't need to worry about. But straight away, the electrolysis. So you need to start racking your brains for electrolysis. What do you need to know? So you might be starting to think, right, positive electrode, negative electrode. Let's have a look a little bit more. So sodium chloride solution produces chlorine and sodium hydroxide. So we've got this industrial process where we're making chlorine gas, which is useful, and also sodium hydroxide. In industry, the electrolysis of sodium chloride solution can be done in several different types of electrolysis cells. Some information about the 2 different types of electrolysis cell is given here below. Straight away, you've got to think, right, why the heck have they given me a huge, massive table? The answer obviously is use it. Because look at the bottom. It says use the information and your knowledge. I'm going to put this in brackets. Because even if you haven't got a clue about electrolysis, this information will help get you marks. So use the information and your knowledge and understanding to compare. So remember, we've got compare as one of our command words. So compare, we're talking about the differences. So the differences between mercury, the differences between a membrane cell. The environmental. So remember, environmental is all about fishes, living things, and the economic advantages. So we're talking about money here. So we've got living things, and we've got money. Money, 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 money. So then we're talking about the advantages and disadvantages of the 2 types of electrolysis cell. Look here, folks. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got information here. Okay, sorry, 5 bits of information. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got the cost of construction. So straight away, cost equals economic. So we can think money, 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 money. Additional substances used. So substances, we're talking about chemicals. So here, this is going to be important for the environment. The amount of electricity used. So again, we can talk probably, if we're talking about electricity, you think, well, electricity, how do we make electricity? Burning fossil fuels. So that's environmental. But then also, someone's got to pay for electricity. So we've got information here. The quality of chlorine produced. So again here, we've got money. And the quality of sodium hydroxide produced, because we're talking about quality of product that can be sold, we're talking about money. So we've got all this different information here now, that all we need to do is structure in sentences for comparison. So really what we're thinking about is we're thinking about 2 things. Mercury and membrane cells, the advantages and disadvantages environmentally. So we're going to be talking about these things and comparing the 2. And then mercury versus membrane cells, advantages and disadvantages economically. So we've got different economic advantages and disadvantages. Have a go at answering the question, pause the video, and then we'll have a look at the answers. So welcome back. So let's have a little look at your answers then, or possible answers for this. So mercury versus membrane cells, advantages and disadvantages. So let's start environmentally. Well, firstly, we know that mercury is toxic, but our membrane cells are not. So obviously being toxic can really cause harm to the environment. But on the flip side, mercury can be recycled, which obviously has environmental and I guess economical reasons. Okay, whereas the membrane has to be renewed / replaced every 3 years. Now, that answer is probably going to get you 3 marks already, because what they're looking at is can you do a comparison? That would be 1 or 2 marks. And then can you do a couple of comparative comments? That would be pushing 3 marks. And then 4, 5 and 6 is a range of comparative comments, both environmentally, we've talked about those, but then economically. So it's so important that you break the question down. So let's think economically. Well, obviously the first one is the mercury cell is more expensive to make. Easy mark there. Okay, then we've got to think about electricity. So mercury cells use more electricity and therefore more expensive to run. And you could argue, back on the environmental front, using more electricity equals more damaging to the environment. We're already at 5 marks, I reckon, if not 6. And we've still got some easy points to make here, because at the bottom we're talking about the purity of the chlorine and the purity or concentration of the sodium. So we can say that the mercury cell is better economically, or words to that effect, okay, simply because the chlorine and the sodium hydroxide are purer. And obviously, therefore, it doesn't need to be purified. That doesn't cost as much money, and therefore the product is much better quality. Very simple ways to get 6 marks in an essay question. Hopefully that helped. Just remember, break down the question, look at the key parts, look at the command word, and you'll be absolutely fine. Thanks a lot.